All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and welcome to United and Everything Football. Kwame Nkrumah is here with me today. Today we are joined by another special guest. He's in the name of Nathan Obodaikwao. He's a United morning show host, a sports journalist, rapper.
Hey.
Yeah, man.
I think it's fine. It's good to have you.
Yes. Hi. Yes, it's nice. It's nice to be invited to be on the pod, and thank you for the invitation. It's fun being here.
Great. Kwame Nkrumah, how have you been? You are all smiles today.
Oh yeah. Put the blue boys to the sword. Put them in their place. Why not?
Wow, it's exactly what we wanted to do. We needed a reaction from the team, and yesterday we got a very, very good reaction. It's a game that should have ended 8-2 in my opinion. Some way, somehow, ended 2-1. It will really flatter the Chelsea guys because we should have really demolished them completely yesterday, but some way, somehow ended 2-1. Okay, so guys, we'll be going into that game. We'll also be looking at issues surrounding the club, issues of leaks, issues of, the whole club structure. We'll be looking at it. And also, we'll be looking at the game against Bournemouth. That'll be coming up on Saturday at 3 p.m. And any other issue that we'll be discussing. Sergeant Ratcliffe, the announcement, they keep postponing. We'll pick Nathan's thoughts on it. Kwame has had this has done an extensive analysis on all the issues, but we'll pick Nathan's thoughts on all of this. So we'll be right back after this break. Okay, thank you so much, and welcome back from our very quick break. Remember to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell anytime so that when we release every new episode, you'll be notified so you can join us. All right, so let's get straight into the issues. I'll start with Nathan. Was that a reaction you really expected? Or did it exceed your expectation in terms of even the reaction that we had yesterday?
I would say it kind of met my expectation largely. I expected the team to respond to the Newcastle loss. I expected a better performance. I expected better body language. I expected to see players who wanted to go out and fight and win and get the points on the table. And I think they did all of that. The second thing I was happy about was that the team executed largely to a plan. I think that for 14, 15 games this season, we've all been asking, what exactly do Man United want to do with themselves? What kind of game plan do they have? I thought against Chelsea, you could see more crystallized ideas of the team pressing high, trying to force Chelsea into a situation where they can get the ball off them and go and cause havoc. And I think you look at the first goal United scored, and it came from such a situation. Anthony and Cole pressed, they managed to get the ball off Chelsea high, and then United went to find that first goal. So it's nice to see that at least in a game that is important, in a game against another big club, United are finally woken up and they've won, which was good. But I was telling some friends of mine yesterday, it's the start of a very long process. The challenge with United is not the fact that they are a bad team, it's the fact that they cannot be consistent. So today they are beating Chelsea. The next time they are probably doing something absolutely crazy that will upset all of us. They will have to build on that. But on the game alone and on the merits of that game at Old Trafford, I was happy. And I'm even happier because it was Chelsea that got beaten. Nothing excites me than seeing Man United do a number on Chelsea. It's been a while since United did a number on Liverpool. So, when you do a number on Chelsea, it's exciting.
That's a very good one. Kwame, what's your thoughts? For me, I watched it with... after the first 30 minutes, I felt a bit more relaxed. Going into such games, you feel a bit tensed, given what has happened. Prior to that, you don't know whether you're going to get the reaction you wanted or not, coupled with the fact that we've somehow made Old Trafford a bit more loosed because we've lost 3 league games there against Palace, against City, and against Brighton. And Chelsea had also been doing very well in the big games. In fact, they had not lost any big games so far this season. I don't know what did you make of the game in general, Kwame?
Kwame, I was angry. That was my actual reaction. I was angry in the lead up to the game. I was pissed. That Newcastle performance was disgraceful.
Yeah.
It was just disgraceful. So if I was pissed, I should expect this team, these players, this manager to also be upset.
Yeah.
And then I think it was all fueled. That performance was actually fueled by the news that broke prior to the last press conference that he had about the leaks and all that. The club wasn't happy with it. Certainly, Eric wasn't happy about it. It led to some renowned journalists, the likes of Samuel Lakehurst and Co. being banned.
Rob Dawson.
The last time I heard of such
Samuel Lakehurst had a solid call.
Yes.
The last time I heard of such mass bans of journalists for publishing stories that, may not necessarily be entirely the truth. It's not like the club refuted or denied those stories, but then the club claims that the journalists did not run such terrible allegations through them before publishing those stories. But then the last time I heard about such things was under Ferguson.
Yeah.
He was brutal when it came to making such decisions. So the club had to react. The players had to react. The manager needed a reaction. And if there was any way this team could refute those damning stories that came out, it was by actually performing the way that they did on the day. I would admit I was surprised. I was surprised by how we played. But then I think I did not expect us to. We've played like this in spells in certain games this season. But this time around, it all came together for a full 90 minutes. A lot of passion, a lot of desire, a lot of drive. And the application was spot on. But then it started with the selection going into the game. Eric made some bold calls that some fans have been crying for some time now. He dropped a couple of players who, from the body language alone against Newcastle, I'll go back to that Newcastle game because that was so annoying to watch. Yeah. Body language alone.
That game was terrible.
That was so annoying. The likes of Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, who should be leading this team, put up, there's no, I can't even qualify that kind of performance. But then they were dropped, especially Rashford. Eventually, he has been dropped. There's only as long a leash that anybody can give you for a period of time. It gets to a period of time that you just run out of rope. So he had to drop him. And then he played a front three of Anthony, Højlund, and Garnacho on the left. Then the usual midfield issues that we have, he's still stuck with playing a double eight. That's the main issue I have this season with our tactics. Playing the double eight and a single six. We're not playing that last season, but he's trying to enforce that this season. Amrabat was sitting, and McTominay and Bruno Fernandes were the double eights. And I started with a back four of Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw back at left back, and Dalot at right back. It was good for most spells, especially when we pressed and all that. But then the problem of Amrabat being left isolated in the first half.
A lot of space.
Cover a lot of space. That issue still was there. This team tried to press. That's the only way to make up for that space around the defensive midfielder. If the press is high and the press is consistent, it's in sync. But then Lindelof, I'll come back to Lindelof. I think he made a couple of huge mistakes in that first half. And I think those mistakes, including the one that led to the equalizer by Cole Palmer, he just literally just watched the guy, instead of being aggressive, being tight, he watched the guy walk the ball into the net. He hooked him off, brought Shaw back into the middle of the park, and into the middle of defense, and then brought Reguilón on. Last season, Erik ten Hag got a lot of credit for his in-game management. This season, it seemed to have completely abandoned him. He would be watching like a deer caught in headlights, and everything will be going wrong, and then we concede, and then we go down before he tries to react, and then very often it's too late. But this time, like last season, he made a crucial change at halftime, which helped us to be more stable, to be more aggressive. Reguilón was brilliant when he came on. Yeah. Aggressive moving forward, aggressive in the tackle. We kept pushing them high up, putting them under pressure, not allowing them to play out. And I think Mauricio Pochettino just didn't expect United to play that way. Just as I didn't expect United to play that.
I think everyone off guard. I think
the Chelsea coach himself was
like, "Hey, what am I seeing?"
Approached the game, and for 90 minutes, I think he looked at his bench, and to be honest, that Chelsea bench was an embarrassment. He looked at the bench and there was nothing there except Reece James. And he drew Reece James on, and that was just about all he could do. And we just kept on pounding and just kept on making mistakes, turnover after turnover. The only disappointing thing, like you said before, is we did not take the numerous chances. See, it's an 8-1 game.
Look, I mean, that first half, United played 10 plus shots, almost 20 shots.
Yes,
we peppered them.
They could put away only one.
We're just all over them, all over.
That 2-1 scoreline is just flattering. But then, see, it's a win against Chelsea. I hate that team. I hate that team. And the thing that we are all in the same situation, the same soup. See, their problem, you will get their problem.
All right, Nathan, I wanted to ask before you add why are we not able to sustain this kind of approach? Why?
It beats my imagination. I think of several reasons. I think reason number one could be that a number of things. So it's either Erik ten Hag really hasn't settled on what he wants to do, or he has an idea, but the players don't understand. Or he has an idea, but the players to implement that idea are not available. And Kwame, you're talking about the problem with the 2-8s. Look, I think if Man United had a 25-year-old Christian Eriksen, I think half of United's midfield problems would be solved, because here you have a player who will not stray too far from his number 6, but will not be too far from the number 10 either. So he's like an intermediate, and he can control the game and allow Bruno or whoever it is to cause all kinds of damage. That I feel is a key part of the problem. United don't have anybody who is in between a 6 and a 10. Now, if you play McTominay as an 8, you are only telling him crash the box and be a secondary goal threat. That's all he can do. And I'm quite surprised it's taking a lot of Man United coaches ages to figure this thing out about Scott McTominay. I'll take you back a few years. Now, United, if you remember, United lost this game to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. I think in Ole's time, I remember Dan James scored that equalizer. It was a game Jordan Ayew scored at Old Trafford. Yes. Now, after that game, so several people were analyzing the game, and I read a couple of very interesting tactical pieces. And some of the inside information revealed that players like Harry Maguire were uncomfortable because every time he had the ball, he was looking for McTominay to pass to. McTominay never showed for the ball. He was always hiding behind players. So United could not build anything. Yes. And clearly it shows that all McTominay has is energy, which is good, and an ability to attack the ball. So I don't know why Erik ten Hag hasn't figured out a system that lets McTominay do only that, attack the box. But if you tell him to track back and help, he won't do it. And even if he does, he doesn't have the positional intelligence to know, okay, let me stand here, let me stop this, let me make a good tackle. Clearly, he has deficiencies, but his plus sides are that he can crash the box and score. So I feel like if Erik ten Hag can figure out how to still have him in the team if he's needed, or find somebody else who can better control the games and allow Bruno or whichever attacking player it is to do the damage. I feel that's where that problem is, because there's too much space for either Amrabat or Casemiro if he's available. Even Kobbie Mainoo, he's 18 years and you are giving him this Herculean task to take care of in a Premier League game. I feel that once United can crack that riddle of a controller, Amrabat has struggled, and I think Wednesday was an absolutely brilliant game for him. Let's see how many more good games he can rack up. But I feel United need a controller, somebody who's better on the ball. And like I said, if you had a 25-year-old Eriksen, I'd be absolutely delighted. But he's not 25 anymore. So I feel United need to find that player, wherever that player is, get that player into that midfield, and the balance will start to show. And then maybe the team will look better. They can defend the transitions better, and then they can have this great midfield platform on which they build to attack teams.
Okay. Kwame, earlier on, we were having a discussion privately, and we were talking about reason why Ten Hag got a player like Mason Mount. I mean, look at the way Scott McTominay is playing. It's the idea that he has, like of a player of Mason Mount to do that kind of job. I don't know. It looks like Mount is taking a bit of time. I mean, there's been stop-start with regards to the injuries, and even when he's played in games, it's become a bit more difficult to know exactly. I mean, there was a point where you felt he was becoming the Mount we know. I mean, somewhere in the Champions League against Galatasaray, in the Carabao Cup against Crystal Palace and all of that, you could see Mount coming. How do you think he will fit into all of this? Should we have some of these players fit and available for the team?
It's simple. Take out Scott McTominay, who wasn't originally part of the plan. Stick in Mason Mount. That's how it's supposed to work. Mason Mount is supposed to be that guy who is crashing into the box like Nathan is describing. He's the one supposed to be at the end of these chances, these opportunities that Scott McTominay is getting at the end of. But you would expect that Mason Mount to show a bit more quality on the ball. See, Scott McTominay is doing great. But in terms of quality on the ball, decision making, when to make a pass, what to do in certain areas of the pitch, he just doesn't have it. He's a limited footballer, but then he has the instinct to know where to be. He's got the touch in the box. He's got the instinctive finish on him. His finishing is brilliant. I'd give him that. But then we need more from him than just finishing. When it comes to that role that he's occupying right now. So I hope Mason Mount should just stay fit, and we are getting into a bit of form. We won 5 league games in 7. It's a bit more stable than how it was at the beginning of the season. If he's able to come into the side when the team is actually performing to a reasonable degree, I think it will help him. If he comes into the team and the team is struggling and everybody's expecting him to do something, be a hero, then it becomes a problem. He's just a piece of the jigsaw. He's not supposed to be the main guy.
Okay.
So I just hope he comes in to the team when the team is in some sort of rhythm, and we'll see its value. But then it all still comes back to what the manager has decided that our style of football should be this season. That's the main problem. The problem is it's so different from how we're approaching games last season. So fans like to pinpoint this is the problem and this is the problem. There's nothing wrong with the problem being multifaceted. It doesn't have to be a single problem. It could be that this coach has gotten it. Personally, I think he's gotten it wrong with deciding that, you know what, I'm going to marry the side that I've come to meet with what the club's style of football has always been. That is transition football. I'm trying to marry it with what Ajax used to play, fuse it together and make it into something. What kind of fusion reaction are you trying to create? You are trying to quote something that nobody knows you for, that you yourself, I don't think you've ever coached before, but you've looked at the team, analyzed the team from last season and gone like, a lot of players that I have now have certain qualities. So let me go this way rather than try and enforce something that I do know already, which is the Ajax way of playing. And it's quite confusion.
Look, if you ask me, Kwame, I think that Erik ten Hag should have stuck to what worked with the team last season. Look, there's nothing wrong and there's nothing shameful about playing transition football. It's almost as though he's like listening to the critics and he almost wants to turn Man United into this ball-playing team overnight just to show that, yes, I can turn the team into a ball-playing team. I don't think it's a bad idea, but that, like you're saying, that sudden switch of styles. Look, when you look at this Manchester United team, look at all the parts. It's almost like they are built to play counter-attacking football. And it's why a lot of fans will say, when Ole was here, things were working. They could play counter-attacking football. They were beating Manchester City all the time. Well, it's because the players he had could play that way. And I think a lot of those players are still here. And so last season, it was almost very natural to fall back on that. I think Ten Hag should have stuck to it and then gradually changed as he went along. But the point is this, you are trying to change the team with players who fit a certain profile. And you are not bringing in players who can do something different with your team. Now, a team that plays counter-attacking football, if you tell them to possess the ball, it will be tough for them. Players like Maguire, Lindelof, and even Casemiro. Look at Casemiro. Casemiro, in his time at Real Madrid, they never dominated games. His time at Real Madrid, 95% of what they did was on the break. They always played on the break. They always played on the break in transition. So now this new thing almost looks tough to
It's alien. It's alien to
very,
these players,
very
and then they are
alien.
struggling. But then one would say he spends £400 million on so many players. So why is it that we are not seeing the style of football? I mean, if you spend this much money on these many players, but you still have a huge chunk of this squad that isn't accustomed to playing the kind of football that he wants to play. What that only means is we have to spend some more money. we have to get rid of more players. More players like that. See, Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay should have left. I'm commending them for how well they've applied themselves this season, how they've turned things around for themselves. They've restored their reputations and all. But if we want to move forward as a team, as a club, the likes of Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, with their limitations, would not be able to help us to go to the next level. Lindelof at the back can't help us to go to the next level. We need centre backs who can recover with pace. Very good one-on-one, aggressive. You get what I'm trying to say? To help the team push up. But if the team is able to push up, that space in midfield wouldn't exist.
Wouldn't be there.
And
it simply wouldn't be there. But then we are caught in a situation where if you push, imagine you push Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. That's it. You get what I'm trying to say?
But even yesterday,
you're just going to be left open all the time. So you're caught in the middle of a half press, like Ralph Raggi could put it. Are we pressing? Are we pregnant, or we are half pregnant? We seem to be half pregnant most of the time. So right now, what I just want to see from the team is build on Chelsea. If we are pressing, it doesn't matter who is at the back. The reason why Shaw is playing there is basically not just because of the passing angles and his passing ability, the pace to recover. If you are pressing high, let's press high and live with the consequences. That is me now. It doesn't matter where we go, who we play against. We've lost lots of games already. I mean,
play a Manchester United version of handball. We live and die by
it, and then we still lose. Go for it. Just go for it.
Nate, you wanted to add something to it before I get to, because we are running out of time. In fact, I'm really enjoying the discussion. I mean, when you win, the energy is there. I mean, you see a lot of us.
Kwame was making a point about the high line and recovery. And I'll give you a perfect example. The 2-on-1 that Chelsea had, that Nicholas Jackson magically failed to score. It was a consequence of a high line that was breached and Harry Maguire and Lindelof who couldn't recover. But I noticed that in the second half, I think the other challenge was that while the front players were pressing, the defenders didn't move up. But I noticed that in the second half, they kind of moved up. They compressed the space. Those are the principles. If you are pressing high, everybody presses high, you compress the space. The downside is if you get played through, well, you can live with the consequence, like Tottenham Hotspur and Ange.
All right, guys. So we have just about 8 minutes to go. And in fact, we've spent a lot of time. We've covered a lot of the things that I wanted us to cover. But I want to pick Nathan's thoughts on, briefly, like let's say 3-4 minutes, on the issues that have been happening in the club, and let's marry it to what we are likely to have. I mean, with Serge and Ratcliffe taking over about 25% stake, a minority stake, taking control of our football and all of that. Nathan, just let's pick your thoughts on that. And then Kwame, I'll get to you on the Bournemouth game.
Okay. I find that development quite interesting, because for the very first time in years, the footballing decisions will not be made by the Glazers or people who, quote unquote, may not know a lot about football. So that's good. The challenge is this: what does Serge Ratcliffe want? Because once he gets control, what does it mean? Does it mean that he decides, like we say, on the footballing side, will the team get a sporting director? Who will be that sporting director? What happens to transfers? Will the scouting change? Will transfer business change? What happens to Eric Ten Hag? What happens to the players? So I feel that there are questions that must be asked. I just hope that for once, Manchester United will take a sensible decision on the footballing side of things, because I feel that a lot of poor decisions have been made since 2013. And it is why, in my estimation, United are like 10 years behind Manchester City, because You cannot, for the life of me, you cannot live as a club in 2023 and not have a proper football director, a proper person to direct transfers, a proper person to decide with the manager. These are the players we want because they fit a certain profile, and it goes on and on and on from there. I hope it plays out. When you read accounts of the things that have happened at Nice and all the other sporting interests that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has, some of the stories don't look too positive. But that's where we are now as a club. He's going to get 25%, and that means he gets to take sporting control. I do hope he makes the right decisions. I do hope that he and the people who will man that part will take the sensible decision so that Man United's fortunes, especially in terms of building a proper football club, not a club that makes money, but a proper football club that thinks about transfers, that has a proper identity, that knows the players it wants and goes to buy them just to enhance its cause. Because I look at Manchester City and Liverpool and I'm green with envy. And I go like, what? How come they get it right and we don't get it right? It's so annoying. But it looks like they take better decisions. So I hope that it's the start of a good turn. We just have to wait and see.
All right. Kwame, this evening, I think we saw pictures of Jean-Claude Blanc and I think Sir David, what's the name? David Balsford or something. I mean, at Old Trafford, I mean, indicating that we are nearing the end of this. We've done for those who are just joining us for the first time, you can check our other episodes. We've done an extensive explainer on Sir Jim Ratcliffe and what this whole minority stake is all about. But Kwame, it looks like we're almost there. Announcement is due and all of that. What do you make of it? In a minute, I just want to pick your thoughts on it.
Nanaba said something in the previous episode. United is not broke. We are not broke. We're not broke. If it's just about having money, right? We've blown through cash over the past decade.
Oh yeah.
Right. But then there's having money and knowing how to spend the money. Yeah. There's having money and knowing how to spend the money. Yes. We haven't spent our money properly. So by getting, like Nathan has said, the right people, especially in the sporting side, to make the right decisions is crucial. See, Aston Villa came 2 or 3 seasons ago into the league, right? Yeah. The American owner has burnt through cash. Yes. But then the moment he got Monchi and Unai Emery together, all of a sudden they are looking for a Champions League spot. Yeah. The Saudis have done similar with making very good appointments at Newcastle. And it's not rocket science. Yes. It's not. We just can't keep on using family and friends to run this club. Let's get the right people. Let's get the right people in to spend our money and spend our money correctly so that we can get back to where we used to be.
Great. So let's get back to the league. We have 3 minutes to go. We are 3 points behind the league champions, Manchester City. Today, the result has gone our way. Somewhere, somehow, Newcastle lost, so we maintain our 6th position, and we are level on points with Spurs and Imposter Koglu.
Imposter Koglu.
Oh, come on, guys.
Anyway, what should we do on Saturday, Nathan?
Look, they'll have to win. That's the most important thing. Just win. It's at Old Trafford. There's the high of beating Chelsea. They will have to persist and get the win. The performance will have to be at the same level. I expect them. Of course, they can't underrate Bournemouth. Bournemouth, they've shown us different sides. You know, they can get stuck in. They can play. If you look at players like Semenyo, Solanke, and others, Philip Billing and co. They have a team that can cause a problem. Man United should be ready and they should apply themselves. I think that is all about application and the will to win. I don't think they would not know what to do in terms of the tactics. When I watch United play, a good part of their problem is just that extra 10% to say, you know, we can't lose this game. Let's push on and win. They will have to get it. And it's just Bournemouth will come and try to be tough to break down. United will have to do everything possible to get the points because next weekend is hell. United are going to hell at Anfield, and I don't even want to think about how that will play out. So United just pick up 3 points over the weekend. We'll be happy. We'll think about Liverpool next week Sunday when it happens.
Kwame, in a minute. In fact, less than a minute. Let's
just win. let's just win.
We win, we
Because
put
I think
ourselves on
Newcastle play Spurs over the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely we will get, if we win, we get over somebody.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's just keep winning.
Yes.
And I think reward players for the performance that they put up over the weekend. And the likes of Marcus Rashford and Martial have to play their way back into the team. Rashford is my guy, but then I mean, he has to play his way back into. He has to fight his way back into the team. Reward players for the performance that they put up.
Tali, I really wish we could continue this conversation. I mean, there's
and I just want to say that I hope Rasmus Højlund finally scored.
Finally.
I really feel sad for him. He's trying. It's just
he's doing his
happening.
best. He's doing everything.
I hope he gets the goal. And when strikers are in this drought, one goal could be the start of many. And I just hope that he can find that goal. Once he finds it, the confidence will come, and I think he'll start to score a lot more.
I really wish we could just keep talking on and on and on. But we are just limited by time, so we'll stick to it. Thank you so much, Nathan, for joining us. You will surely be here again.
Thank you.
There's a lot more.
Yes, I'll definitely be back.
There is a lot more to talk about. Thank you, my co-host Kwame Nkrumah, for being with us. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Please, if you are new, always do that for us. And also hit the notification bell every single time. We are grateful for your time. We are grateful for your data, wasting your data to watch us.
We're bringing
you a lot more. A lot more to come. Thank you so much. Have a great time.